more time. We'll start with. So, very good morning to you all. And today we are going to start with our unit number 2 for the subject electrical circuits. So, here the unit name is Transient Analysis of Basic RL, RC, and RLC circuits. Okay. So, for this subject, we are going to refer this book, Engineering Circuit Analysis, William H. Hare, Jack E. Kimmerly, and Stephen M. Durbin. So this is 7th edition, okay, and publisher is Tata Microhill. So in this unit, we are going to study the expected things are, that is initial conditions of resistor, inductor, and capacitor. So driven RL, RC circuits, source-free RL and RC circuit. So the properties of the exponential response, natural and forced responses of RL and RC circuit, as well as we are going to study that is driven and source-free RLC circuit. At the end, the conditions, that is overdamped, underdamped, and the critically damped of the series RLC circuits. So this is what the flow we are going to start with, that is initial conditions, driven RL, RC circuits, source-free RL, RC circuits, then properties, then again natural force responses of the RL and RLC circuits, introduction to the driven source-free RLC circuits, and the conditions associated with it. See, whenever we'll go with this points, this is about the reference books and the reference page numbers, so you can go with the same. Okay, you can have the screenshot for this one. So these are about the teaching methodology that we are going to adopt for this unit. So before we go with, we must know the basic things, that is basic circuit theory, then voltage current relationship, that is Ohm's laws, KVL, KCS, loop analysis, node analysis. Okay, the first order differential equations and the second order differential equations that you have already gone through your M1 and M2. Okay, next to it, this RLC circuit analysis, where it is required actually and where we are going to apply. See, after this studying this unit, people will be able to identify the VLSI circuits, then circuit models of the transmission line, BJT, MOSFET, CMOS, wherever the basic circuit elements are being defined, RLC, there you people are, or you will be applying the tactics or the theory that you have studied in during this unit. So before wasting much more time, we'll start with our unit number 2. So guys, we are knowing that a network in which the branch and the current and node voltages are not changing with respect to the time, we have defined it as the steady state. And also, if the voltage and the current in the circuits are having the constant amplitude and the frequency, okay, so the time interval of these parameters measurement, okay, so these circuits are also known as the steady state circuits. Okay, so when the network is switched from one condition to the another by changing applied voltage or by changing one circuit elements during a period of a time, so the branch currents and voltage change from their former values or the initial values to the newer one. Okay, so this time interval is called as the transition period. Transition period, where the properties of this parameters will be changed from initial conditions to a new one, okay, or the newer one. So the response or the output of this network during the transition period is called the transient response of the network. Are you getting my point? Whenever the response or the output of the network during the transition period is changed, or the it's been varied, it is known as the transient response of the network. So if after a transition period or the network condition is not distributed, then the network attains a steady state at a infinite time. So the application of laws to the network containing energy storing elements such as we have already gone through inductor, capacitor. So this results into the differential equations. Okay, and those equations whose solutions consist of two parts. Okay, one is complementary function and second one is the particular function. So complementary you have already gone through. So complementary function represents the transient part of the solution which decays with time, while the remaining term it represents the steady state or the steady part of the solution. So initial condition of the element in the network must be known to evaluate arbitrary constant in general solution of differential equation, and in the analysis of network behavior of the elements which is being identified individually and in combination, it is studied with the initial conditions. Okay, so we must know the what are the differential equations, what are the initial conditions. Okay, so let us define few of the terms. Okay, so to start with, I'm having the few of the conditions. Okay, can you see my blank screen? Are you able to view it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. Okay, so guys, whenever we are dealing with this transient analysis of the basic RL, RC and RLC circuit, we are knowing that the for to find out the solution of this RL, RC and RLC network, differential equations are used as we discussed earlier. So here, what we'll be identifying, let us define nth order differential equations. You may please note down with me. Okay, so if we have to identify a nth order differential equation, you people might have gone through. This is what the nth order differential equation: a0 dn of I of t dt raised to n, a1 d raised to n minus 1 dt raised to n minus 1 into I of t plus a raised to n minus 1 d by dt of I of t plus an I of t, which is equal to v of t. So here this a0, a1, okay, an are what are a positive constant. Okay, so this equation, let us call this equation number 1. Okay, so this big equation is basically differential equation of current I of t, and this current is produced due to what? The voltage applied v of t. So since the current is dependent on voltage, okay, and I of t here, okay, I'll just write all those terms so that people will be able to understand. So I of t is the current and which is being produced due to the voltage applied v of t. So voltage we have v, is it? So this I of t is just because it is produced due to voltage v, it is also known as dependent variable. Okay, and the notation of V of t, it is nothing but what it indicates. It is the voltage applied to the network, and because of it, the current I of t is produced. So V of t is used. So this I of t is dependent variable, and V of t is, it is known as independent variable, because it is not going to vary. Okay, so the voltage V of t is used to drive forward, to drive the network. So it is called a input function. It is known as the input function, or it is also known as the forcing function. Why forcing function? It is forced to drive the current. Okay, so it is also called as the excitation. I'll just note down all the terms. It is also known as the input function. It is also known as the forcing function, or the excitation. Understood? So the solution of this equation number 1, is called as the response of the system. So let's put n is equal to 1. What we will get if we put the value of n as 1 in equation number 1, we get a0 of d by dt of I of t plus a1 of I of t is equal to v of t, isn't it? So this equation contains first order derivative only. So it is the first order differential equation. So this differential equation can be classified. Okay, this is what the first, I will call this one as equation number 1, which is nothing but first order differential equation. Okay, so this differential equation can be of two types. This can be of two types. So which are those two types? First, it is known as homogeneous equation, and second one is non-homogeneous equation. Non-homogeneous equation. Okay, so for homogeneous equation, if applied voltage, if applied voltage, what is applied voltage? V of t is 0, then your equation 1 will be, therefore equation 1 will be, what will be your equation 1? It will be a0 of, okay, sorry, equation 2, actually we should consider equation 2 because we have defined this one as the first order differential equation. So with respect to that one, we have categorized this two. So it will be a0 di of t divided by dt plus a1 I of t is equal to 0. Okay, so this is called as a homogeneous equation. I call this one as equation number 3. Okay, now what about the non-homogeneous equation? So for the non-homogeneous equation, it will contain a independent. So if the differential equation contains a independent variable, then it is called as the non-homogeneous equation. So what is the non-homogeneous equation here? Over here it will be now a0 d by dt of I of t plus a1 of I of t is equal to v of t. This is what equation number 4 I will call. Okay, so when the equation, or whenever, keep in mind, whenever equation contains a independent variable, so it is known as the non-homogeneous equation. When it does not contain any independent variable, it is known as the homogeneous equation. Is there any doubt till here? Is there any doubt? So the next point that we are going to study for now, it is a solution for a non-homogeneous equation. Okay. Okay. So solution for non-homogeneous equation. Sorry. Okay. So the point we are going to start with, it is a solution for the homogeneous equation. So consider the homogeneous equation we have already written. So the homogeneous equation, we have written it as A0 d by dt of I of t plus A1 I of t is equal to V of t. Is it? So now the solution of this homogeneous equation means what? We have to obtain the equation of I of t. Okay. So to identify, sorry, here must be this term must be a 0 because it's a homogeneous equation. So what we have to obtain is we have to obtain the equation of I of t. Okay. So the equation, if we want to obtain I of t, so this can be rearranged as A0 d by dt of what? I of t is equal to minus A1 I of t. Is it? So if we transfer the variables and if we take this I of t, okay, as a common term, so this can be identified as, therefore, di of t, okay, by dt is equal to what? Minus a1 by a0 I of t. Is it? Therefore, if I want to rearrange the same term, this can be written as di of t by I of t is equal to minus a1 by a0 dt. Okay. Now by taking integration at both sides, so what we get? Natural log of I of t is equal to minus a1 by a0 t plus c1. So what is c1? It is constant of integration. Okay. So now for again this, for mathematical simplicity, we can express minus a1 by a0 as minus a1 by a0 of t is equal to natural log of e raised to minus a1 by a0 into t, isn't it? So let us denote this. Let's denote new constant c as c1 is equal to natural log of c. Now, if we put, let us define the equation numbers. Okay, so I'll call this one as equation number 1. Okay, this one as 2, and this one as 3. Okay, so if we put the equation number 1 and 2, okay, sorry, 2 and 3 in equation number 1, okay, put 2 and 3 in 1, we get what we get? We get natural log of, we'll get this equation as natural log of I of t is equal to log of e raised to minus a1 by a0 of t plus ln of c, that is natural log of c. Now, this is what we have a standard identity. What is that standard identity? Log of a plus log of b is equal to what? Log of ab, isn't it? All we know. So your equation will be now natural log of I of t, okay, which is equal to log of c into e raised to minus a1 by a0 into t. So if we take antilog of both sides, okay, so what we get? I of t is equal to c into e raised to minus a1 by a0 into t. So this is what a solution or the required solution of a homogeneous equation. Okay, so this solution again has the two types. So I of t, this can be. So are you getting these two solutions? Two types of a solution: general solution where the constant of integration is unknown, and particular solution where the constant of integration is known. So for this one we have already defined. Okay, so I of t where the constant of integration is not known, so it becomes a general solution. Now for the particular solution, let us consider I at t is equal to, or the time t is equal to 0, I of t is a2. So I of t can be defined as, okay, so initial condition it is became it, or it is defined as I of 0. Okay, so I of 0 is equal to c into e raised to minus a1 by a0 into, at time t becomes 0, your value will be now only a2. Therefore c is equal to what? A2. What is this? C is equal to a2. So a2 is nothing but the constant of integration. So the value of constant of integration is known over here. So if we put, by putting c is equal to a2 in equation 4, we have already mentioned. So what it will become now? It will be I of t is equal to, okay, a2 into e raised to minus a1 by a0 into t. Okay, so this is what a particular solution of a homogeneous equation. Hope you have understood this point.